All right, SNL live from the NFL Combine. We are fighting through and trucking on. A little later than usual, but we appreciate y'all for joining us. A lot happened, a lot of localized things to speak of when it comes to the Texans today. We heard from the tight ends and we heard from the safeties, Cody.
Mm-hmm. One of those groups we really wanted to hear from. The other group, not so much. Not so much.
Yeah, the corner area, not so much. The safeties, I was intrigued by. I found myself kind of imagining like what that would look like. It does feel like the Texans are a popular destination. D'Amico Ryans has done that, like at least on the defensive side of the ball, and it seems like they might have a type at tight end as well, as to what exactly they're looking for.
Where do you want to start? You want to start with the tight end conversation, or do you want to start with the DBs?
I want to start with the tight ends.
All right. Well, you know that much like Nick Caley, who is a very big fan of tight ends.
I like tight ends.
I like tight ends too. I really like this tight end class. It's a very good class. It's a very deep class. It's not quite running backs where there's Baskin Robbins and there's every flavor, but there's useful tight ends up and down this class. And you and I talked to a ton of them over the course of the day. I think we start with the fact that Colston Loveland, the Michigan tight end, who has been sort of affiliated with that 25th overall pick that the Texans have, he talked to the Texans last night. He's got a little shoulder thing that he's working through right now, but he'll be healthy when all things are said and done. And that's the type of guy that can improve this offense. Michigan's passing offense was much better when Colston Loveland was on the field. They were atrocious when he was off the field. He's got enough from a blocking standpoint that, while it's not a huge strength for him, it's something that's not a big negative to his game and not really a negative to his game. So I was excited to hear they talked to Colston Loveland. He met with them last night, and that's a guy that, hey, if you're going to use that 25th overall pick on a tight end, he's widely considered the second best tight end. And depending on who you talk to, some guys like him as much as Tyler Warren, and there might even be a few Michigan homers that think he's even better.
Yeah, I can get down with the Loveland thing. It does. I don't want to go positional value, but it just does seem like, especially once you're in a room with all the guys, because it's one thing to go down a list, it's one thing to do all the research and everything, but when you actually like go to the combine and you see the guys in a room, you start to like kind of open your mind to other possibilities that won't cost you that number 25 overall pick that could end up being kind of on the same scale as a Loveland. So I mean, it happens all the time. I didn't feel that way with the safeties. I felt like it was very top heavy, the safeties, but the tight ends, I'm starting to become more open to the possibility of perhaps finding a gym on day one or day 2 or day 3, I should say.
I think about it from like a value investment standpoint. Yes, I understand that positional value, depending on who you talk to, matters. It doesn't matter, but it's a player that helps you day one. Like I very much believe those first 4 selections that the Texans make, they have their picks in the first 4 rounds. All of them need to be able to have a clear role that helps you a good amount on day one. As much as I'd enjoy like the Blake Fisher of another position, those players have to help you in 2025. Colston Loveland could help you in 2025. He could immediately be on the field with Dalton Schultz. He could immediately be on the field with Brevin Jordan, with Cade Stover, and you could disguise what you're doing. It's not like, oh, he's only a pass catcher, so you're like really telegraphing what you're doing. Like it's a guy that you could, but then you think about it, it's like, okay, well, I like kind of these other tight ends too. Like I mean, I'm not infatuated with just one tight end. I like all tight ends, maybe not as equally, but I wonder what that tight end has to offer to me. I wonder what that guy, or if I had a different position fall to me at 25, okay, well, I know there's a tight end I can focus on in the second round, third round, fourth round. That's the danger of like falling in love with a player or position is what's available. How can you go about getting that and not losing out on it if you do wait and you don't get the guy that you really like, that might be at the top of that position.
I think I got a draft crush, man. I
Who
think
is it?
I've got my first draft crush.
The first. So I haven't even talked about draft crushes yet.
No, I think I have one.
And Landry's got a draft crush. Who is it?
I do.
Who is it?
Fidone.
Hey, Fidone.
Fidone is the guy that I'm thinking they're going to like him. And I think he is a well-rounded tight end.
So for those who don't know, Thomas Fidone from Nebraska is the tight end Landry's has fallen in love with.
Yeah, and I can say Fidone I don't know. I'll figure out how to say it right if he ends up being a Texan. And hell, if he ends up being a hell of a player. But I think it's Fidone.
I kind of like Fidone because it's kind of got like a little Italian flair to it. Like, hey,
yeah.
Fidone.
So he is a massive kind of physical freak type of vibe. I think if you want to go watch his highlights and you want to go in that if you want to go down that rabbit hole, I think you'll enjoy it. I tweeted that, he said that he talked to the Texans or whatever. You told me that they went over his favorite first down play, his favorite third down play.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of a weight room guy. He talked about like competing in the weight room, said that's something he prides himself on. And I tweeted out that he likes finishing blocks, and I got a text. I don't think I'm telling on him for texting me. I got a text from one John Harris.
Okay, one of my favorite trap.
And it said, quote, 100 times yes. Love him. He's my sleeper in this class. So as I was kind of had an eye for, and by the way, your highlights look better when you're wearing like a number in the 20s at tight end. His number was 24 at Nebraska. It looks cooler than 85, 86 or something. It just kind of like when you have like the single digit tight end type joint. Like even Colson Loveland, I think he rocked 18. That looks sick.
Yeah.
But when you're 24, it looks good. But the highlights kind of speak for themselves. And as you've brought up a couple of times, he was the number one recruit in the nation at the tight end position.
Yeah, number one tight end in the nation when he was a recruit coming out.
Yes. So I Fidone, for me, I like what he brings to the table. I think he's definitely a day two guy. He would be a kind of guy they like. Another guy that you brought up.
One more thing about Fidone,
too.
A couple of different offenses for him, and lots of different quarterbacks. Up until this year, probably not as good of quarterbacks, but a couple of different offenses for him. So a little bit of experience there. And, and the Holgorsen air raid experience there at the end that he talked about it a little bit. That's useful too. And plus, it's not like Nebraska's had good quarterbacks, so there might be some untapped potential there from a receiving standpoint. You get him with a good quarterback.
Yeah. And the other thing that I wonder, and this is just kind of the state of everybody focuses on the state of college football. Like when it comes to transfer portal, like that was popular. Like people were asking questions. Hey, what do you think about the transfer portal? What about the state of the college football playoff and all this type of stuff? And like they're asking it from like a college perspective. I wonder if it's almost like an advantage for NFL teams with all these guys playing in multiple schools and multiple systems. And I know Fidone is a different example of why it happened, but like when you talk about some of these prospects and you say, okay, this guy played at this school and then he went to this school, I think that's probably better preparation for the NFL than someone who's just in the same system for 4 years. So why it might be looked at as confusing. I think all these guys that are playing in multiple systems, hell, even multiple like cultures in areas.
Yeah.
I think I think college football in a way is kind of helping the NFL and helping these young men prepare. If I'm a coach, if I'm Nick Caley, and we talk about hybrid system and offensive system and all that, and you have someone who's learned multiple systems, I think that's a good thing. I don't think that's bad at all.
Yeah, look, experience in multiple systems, as long as you were able to pick it up, it's not going to be a bad thing for me. It's not going to be bad when I think about what, Fidone being in a couple of different systems, or guys that transferred from one school to another. Like, it used to be, oh, what are you running away from? Guys transfer now to make sure they get playing time
And money.
So, and well, money helps too. That's not gonna end up favorably when you ask a guy like, "Why'd you transfer there? Did you really like the offense?" No, I really like.
I got bread.
I really like.
I got bread. Then there was another one that kind of stuck out when you were in the room. A kid from Georgia Tech.
I love this guy, Jackson Hawes.
Are you going to call him a camp crush, or are you going to call him a draft crush, or?
I don't know if he's like, I don't know if you can crush on a guy that's like guaranteed to be a day 3 guy, but if I could sign up for one of the very late Texans draft picks being used on him, I'd sign up for it right now. He's just it. He was excited when he was asked. Like, I know he talked to the Texans at the Senior Bowl. I was like, "Hey, have you caught up with him here at the combine?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I have." He was like very excited about it. Talked with Jake Moreland, the tight ends coach, who's here, and was like, "Oh, I was really excited about how they want to use the tight ends and how they could see how I could be useful." And then he's just the pure blocker type with surprising hands. He played at Yale for 4 years and then transferred to Georgia Tech. And they threw him the ball. I think they threw him the ball 20 times. He had like 16 catches at Georgia Tech. So, like, that's not a lot there from like a box score standpoint or a highlight standpoint. But he was awesome at the Senior Bowl. He had like 15 catches at the Senior Bowl in like 3 days of practice. He had a super smooth one-hand catch on the sideline where he just ripped that out of the air and kind of ran down the field with it. Like, he's the draft pick that has a very clear good use right away that you're never going to think about from a fantasy perspective. You're never going to think about from like oh my God, he's scoring touchdowns. Nope. He's just going to be out there knocking dudes on their ass, and Joe Mixon's going to be running right past him. Like, that's what Jackson Hawes, the Georgia Tech tight end, brings to the table for the Texans.
And I'm going to talk about this a little later on in the stream, but touching on it now, it does feel like it's just one day, but it would make sense for them not to be interested in a guy that's just a one-dimensional pass catching guy. Like, Gunnar Helm said that they hadn't met with him yet, and Arroyo said that he hadn't met with him either. Now, I would say you need as many pass catchers as possible on this team. I think that would be nice, whether it be at the tight end position, at the running back position, obviously at the wide receiver position. But it's a one-day thing, but it's also something that would kind of make sense based on how this roster's built, how they look, and really the fact that you have one tight end who's pretty much a receiving guy in Brevin Jordan. You have another guy who's kind of the blocker in Cade Stover. And then you have Dalton Schultz, who's supposed to be your most complete tight end. He's damn sure not that. And he's going to be gone in a year. So it would make sense for them to want to find kind of a complete guy.
Yeah, someone who's like Fidone, like Loveland, that's got receiving juice to him and enough from a blocking standpoint, in addition to a willingness. Like, if they get Dalton Schultz in year 6, whatever he is of his NFL career, he's not getting coached up to block. He don't have the willingness to block. But if a guy has the willingness, you can fine-tune some things in his ability to block, and you can make him a useful player right away. And they may keep 4 tight ends. They may keep 3 tight ends. But having a guy that could do a little bit more of both, I do believe Stover's going to have a little bit more receiving prowess to him this year. And then hopefully the pass blocking gets better. The run blocking improves. It's already pretty solid for him. But I definitely like the idea of, if you're going to use one of these draft picks on a tight end, go and get one of those guys that is a little bit of both, because you've got kind of specialist guys already.
Right. I would agree on that. So that was the tight ends. I was my intrigue level, like if I were rating the intrigue, I obviously developed a draft crush. I didn't even look at Tyler Warren. Like I couldn't tell you what he was wearing today. Like that's just kind of how I've just kind of dismissed that.
His hair is immaculate.
Didn't even notice. Didn't I promise you. I couldn't pick him in a lineup right now. Like if he walked right in front of me, he might have. I would not be able to pick him. I didn't even I'm a localized guy. Like it's these lenses right here, they're localized.
Well,
I did not I promise you, did not even like Travis Hunter. A lot of people were over there. Didn't care. I was talking to Kobe Bryant, who pretty interesting character, that Kobe Bryant fella.
Well, but we're gonna have to localize Warren if he ends up staying in this city for his NFL career. That would not be fun.
Which is a very strong possibility.
Yeah, if Tyler Warren got honestly, I mean, they have Evan Ingram, but the Jaguars should think about taking Tyler Warren.
At 5?
Yeah.
I mean, I saw Brock Bowers. I know where that's going to go. Well, did you see Brock Bowers playing last year? I knew that's exactly what Cody was about to say. He was about to say, did you see Brock Bowers play last year?
No,
if I would have as the Jackson. So I'm not even going to give you that. I'm going to take it out the bag before you even start it. That's what
I just know. They have a pretty soft offense outside of Brian Thomas Jr.
You're taking Brock Bowers number 5 overall? How many teams? Let's go back and look at the draft. How many teams regret not taking Brock Bowers last year?
Brock Bowers wasn't going to come up. I don't know. I mean, I just think Tyler Warren's kind of a
sure.
Tyler Warren's.
I don't now like. You're lying to the people, and that's offensive.
I don't like the Jaguars' offense, and I feel like they need to add offense. And if they had defense, be my guess.
But as soon as I said take him 5 overall, you were going in the Bowers bag.
No, I think their offense is soft, and he would make it not soft.
Jake Asman says in the super chat, which is weird because he's staying in our Airbnb. Currently taking a Stoots level bleep at the Airbnb.
I didn't know Landry didn't poop. Like it's weird. Like he's like, man, you really kind of tore it up in there. And I was like, yeah, people go to the bathroom, man.
That's not. He's misleading. I don't even want to be on this topic right now. It's just not a.
People go to the bathroom.
It's just not a thing.
Everybody eats. Everybody sleeps. Everybody goes to the bathroom.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like a Serena Williams tennis match when they're in the restroom. Some
people have more fiber in their diet. I lack fiber because I've been eating like garbage in Indianapolis.
I mean, I'm talking about the grunts. I thought you turned tennis on in the restroom, and just a lot going on there.
Yeah, well, if I'd had a little bit better eating habits this week, I wouldn't have had to struggle.
Herman Tharp says, all right, so I assume you're getting a salad today at the steakhouse.
Nope.
Herman Tharp says, we need pass catching tight end, not blocking tight ends. Our O-line can't block, but we want a tight end to do it. Why? All right, so there's a couple things here, Herman. I agree with you. They just need better tight end play, period. I think you didn't have Brevin last year. I don't know how good Brevin really is. I think he's a fine player, but I feel like he's almost like gotten gassed up because of how bad the tight end play was.
We're not married to anybody.
Yeah.
The general manager said that. General manager said that. I know Brevin Jordan was a cool story a year ago, getting ready to break out of camp. Let's actually see it before we start counting on him, okay?
Yeah, and it was a 1-year deal. I don't know what the I would assume it's not like fully guaranteed or anything like that. But
no, it's $600K. If he didn't make the team, that's all it is.
The receiving production was bad too, out of the tight end position. So I agree with you. They need everything. As far as I understand the frustration because it was frustrating. I don't know that you need to carry that frustration with you, Herman, because there's a new offensive coordinator. There's a new offensive scheme. There's a new philosophy. So
didn't you hear that Dante Scarnecchia Jr. is the offensive line coach now? That's going to get fixed.
Oh, I have a story about that. You want to hear it?
Yeah, let's finish your thought about with Herman not carrying through, and then let's hear.
I think the frustration about asking Dalton Schultz to basically play left tackle can be left in the rear view. Like if Bobby Slowick were still here, like I would 100% get it. But like I think asking Dalton Schultz to be a right or left tackle, I think we can kind of just we can push it back. I'm not telling you how to feel. I'm not telling you how to fan, but I think that it's at least the hope is that's a thing of the past.
Yes.
So that's all I'm saying. I'm not going to ever tell you what to say or do or anything like that. But I think I agree with everything you said, and I agree with the frustration. I just think that we can probably put that in the past.
I think kind of along also what Herman's saying is like, don't get the guy that's one thing only because you need a little bit more.
I don't care if he's really, really good.
If he's really, really good at what he does, like if they draft the Georgia Tech kid Hawes and he's a really good blocking tight end and he's a 6th round pick, you'll be happy with that.
I'm with him though. I would rather have a really good pass catching tight end than just a guy who's like a thumping blocker.
Sure, but you don't. I mean, the thumping blocker is a 6th round pick. The good guy that can catch the pass is a top 3 round pick.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Very solid, Cody. Very solid. So we'll get to the DBs as well. And if we failed to mention, they did meet with Loveland. So Colston Loveland out of Michigan, they did meet with.
A couple of additional things about Loveland that he kind of just like revealed as he was talking about himself. His family owns a farm.
Oh, so him and Cade.
You'd have two farm owning tight ends.
But I don't know if Cade would be able to be friends with him
because of the Michigan thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's about that life. Like I know they could have everything in common, and I think Cade would look at him sideways.
That feels like something that would push both of them. It feels like something that would be a good thing for both of them.
Is his farm in Michigan?
I do not know where his farm is. But
I only ask because Cade's like full bred Ohio.
Right. Yeah. And then his cousins are like rodeo competitors. Like I think bronc riders, roping. He's like, yeah, sometimes when I would go for the summer, I'd get to run the chute for them when they're doing rodeo practice. I was like, oh my God. Okay.
I want to ask Cade because Cade said he hasn't even like stepped outside of Houston. He's literally just goes home and then goes to the facility because he's so country.
Yeah.
I want to ask him like what kind of meal like his I bet his mom put together some like just insane stuff.
He's so I know he's back in Ohio now, and he'd been back like one day and he was like helping his dad renovate like one of their houses or their rooms or something. It's like him in like construction gear with like the goggles and the hard hat, like ripping stuff off the walls. So it's like, that's probably like, he's making his happy place now, like renovating the barn, renovating the extra house on the property, the farmhouse or whatever. Like he's having a blast.
All right. So this is about your coaching staff.
Okay, so this is honestly a great job by you because this is something you found out within the first hour you were in town.
I don't know if it could be wrong.
It's good background.
So the Patriots guy I always talk about, Alex Barth. He's very he's into the nerdy stuff. And I was talking to him just about the Patriots and the Texans, and he was like, hey, how Shaq Mason, blah, blah, blah. Did you know Shaq had cancer?
What?
That's what he said.
Shaq Mason had cancer?
He said he had cancer. I don't know if he had drank too much or what. I probably should have looked that up before I asked.
That feels like we should have double checked that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what he said. So, I mean, he's the one who said it.
By the way, my recent Google searches, when I typed in Shaq Mason contract, Shaq Mason PFF.
Yeah, I don't know where he got this cancer thing from. It's like
well, the AI on Google says there's no information about Shaq Mason having cancer.
Yeah, what was Alex Barr talking about? I'm not even going to quote him. He said he liked Cole Popovich. Cole Popovich is going to be the worst O-line coach ever now. He said he missed it with the season with a sickness, and it was his hand. Alex Barr's fired. He's no longer my Patriots guy.
So you got to back off his Cole Popovich love then.
That's what I'm saying. The whole point was we were talking, and he talked about how great a coach Cole Popovich was, but I just kind of browsed over his Shaq Mason cancer story, and now all of a sudden it's like, okay, I don't know when to trust this guy. I'm gonna text. I'm gonna like
FaceTime him. Get him on the show.
Let me.
Oh my God. You can't just throw around that somebody had cancer.
He said it. But I mean, he would have recovered nicely. He said it was his rookie year. What are you looking at me for? He's the one who said it.
So actually, Shaq had a really bad rookie year, and it's typical for guards if they have a bad rookie year to continue to be bad football players. Kenyon Green, probably one of the better examples of that.
Where did he get that from?
I can't find anything.
But he lit up talking about Cole Popovich. He said Cole Popovich was cool.
He's
a
Cole
good
Popovich
coach.
Is probably a serial killer if that's
he was
the
a
case.
great coach.
Like, if Barth's got it wrong like that.
I just messaged him. I'll let you know when I get this.
We're probably just.
I mean, I actually kind of felt bad. I was like, damn, we're giving Mechie and Dylan Horton all this love. Shaq Mason's put together a nice career.
Yeah, it's a good bounce back for him. You also left that out last night.
Man, hit the race card. I knew that. He was talking about Marcus Cannon. I knew that.
Alex Barth had one too many pops and confused him.
Okay. Yeah. See, here it is. It's on the thing. I said, where'd you get that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. Wrong lineman. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Marcus Cannon. I knew that out of TCU. Okay. There you go. Shaq had a hand. There you go.
People keep wondering why we keep looking the way we're looking. Landry's over there.
Yeah.
So I'm over here.
Yeah, we had to move because we were having some Wi-Fi issues. So
we weren't.
That was the thing. We'll figure it out. The
Indiana Convention Center was.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi was rough. Shout out to Will Kunkel for the hotspot. There's a lot of radio stations, like people not even be able to get on the air.
That's the only hotspot Kunkel knows anything about.
So that's forgivable. He just mixed up his.
That's forgivable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he mixed up two guys. Whatever. But he does like Cole Popovich. Now, I don't know if y'all trust it or not based on that mix-up. Travis, you're very right. That's the ultimate RC, like the big one. But he did like Cole Popovich. Now, he did say, and some people might like him even more. And I heard this. So this is not just Alex Barth.
You got a second source on this one, unlike Shaq Mason's?
I got multiple sources on this one. Apparently, he wasn't too soft-spoken about refusing the vax. It wasn't like my right, like, but apparently he was speaking with his chest on it in New England.
Yeah, so he was the offensive line coach, and he lost his job and coached high school for a year because of the NFL's vaccine policy.
Now,
so this wasn't just like oh man, this was a tough decision. It was like a nope, forget you type thing.
Yeah. Do we like this? Are we liking this information now? Are we over the Shaq Mason thing, or do you want me to move on? Because there's another nugget I got. And and seriously, Barth is the reason that I wouldn't even look it up is because he's a freaking nerd.
Yeah,
like he could tell you the left guard from like '83. He just mixed up. They were drinking all day after the combine, and he mixed up Shaq Mason and Marcus Cannon. Yeah. You could do a lot worse things.
He's going to tell me the left guard from '83 was a lady, actually. What? What? It was a lady? Got to make a movie about it.
But seriously.
What's the last little nugget you got for me?
Do you want it or not?
Yeah, I want it now. Let's get it all out there and then let the people decide what they want.
So he was talking about Nick Caley, and apparently the Nick Caley thing, I think we've kind of been missing. We haven't missed it, but we kind of have even a bigger perspective of why he turned down New England when he did last year. And the reason was because it wasn't necessarily just that Gerard Mayo was the coach and he thought they were going to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, he thought he should have been considered to be the play caller the year when they let Matt Patricia and Joe Judge be the OC. And that was what Nick Caley was as much pissed about as anything was, all right, I'm an offensive guy. I know this system. I know it front to back, yada, 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 yada. And now y'all want me to be the offensive coordinator after y'all pass me over for fucking Matt Patricia and Joe Judge to call offense.
I mean, hold it against the whole organization. I like that.
And that was Belichick who did that too.
I'm an all-time grudge holder, so I like that.
Yeah. So that was that.
Yeah, that's a good. It makes sense because it showed good judgment because that was not a good situation there in New England to go into as a first-time coordinator. Like the Gerard Mayo led, going to draft a rookie quarterback. It's not going to be one of the top 2 rookie quarterback situations. Like, not a great situation to go into. So it showed good judgment there, but it also shows like a level of pettiness that sometimes makes coaches really good.
So that was the end of the Barg Nugs.
The we got to come up with a name for this.
Shaq Mason.
The Bark BS.
That was the ultimate RC, though. God. Had cancer. God.
Nope, it was actually his teammate who's a different human. Did Barth think for like a second like cancer was like the flu, like you could pass it to a teammate? Like he played near Marcus Cannon. He might have got cancer. That's not how it works. Actually, Marcus Cannon is radioactive, and I think it gave Shaq Mason something. Not in a good way. Oh no. It's a little bit of a miss there by Barth, but the other good stuff. The other good stuff. You led with that one. You left that one out last time.
I could have just left it out, and that would have been like, damn, that's some good ass information, man.
I know. You took a shotgun to his own foot. Yeah.
I'll move on. I was like, wow, that's impressive. What a career he's put together. He broke his hand. In fairness, he did get hurt though. He did break his hand.
It's a little bit different than cancer.
Yeah, but missed games.
Sure.
Cancer sprain, I mean, whatever. Let's move on to the do we want to go corners or safeties next?
I mean, let's quickly talk about the cornerbacks because I don't know that there's as much conversation there as the safety position.
Okay, so the cornerbacks, Travis Hunter had a really large group around him. I didn't even look at Travis Hunter. Honestly.
Travis Hunter had I've been to 3 combines. He had the biggest group of people I've ever seen at one podium here at the combine.
Yeah, I wasn't interested in him. By the way, Barth got next question by Travis Hunter. He asked
Travis Hunter if he had cancer?
Travis Hunter used next question on every visit question.
I can respect that.
Yeah, I mean, some people hate that question. I don't hate it as much as some. But anyway, the corners, I was intrigued by Kobe Bryant. He seemed like a very interesting dude. He said a lot of crazy things. I don't know if it was like the best combine interview, but he said he stays on social media. He uses social media comments for motivation.
Okay.
So he said he lives on
off to a great start.
He said trash talking is part of his game. Always has been. That's one of his favorite things. He said that he's not worried about getting labeled as small.
Okay, well, that's going to happen, so glad it doesn't bother you.
And then he also said that football's all he's got. He's like, it's all I got.
That's good. I do like that. That's a
He's
positive.
like, so it's all I got, to be honest. So he said that, and then I asked him the question that everyone loves: did you visit with the Texans? And he said yes, and he provided us with the quote of the day. I said, how'd it go? He said it was good. They said they like dogs. I'm a dog. Kamari Lassiter's one of my good friends. He's a dog. We're both dogs. Close quote.
Okay. I like that. Now, if he was 200 pounds, I'd like it a lot more, but he's 138 pounds soaking wet.
We are live from the NFL Combine Landry Locker. Cody Stoots with you.
I don't want to weight shame anybody.
He's listed on 160.
That seems a little generous.
He has the skinniest arms I've ever seen in my life.
The worry about a guy like him is once you put him on the field, teams just they run at him, or post catch he becomes a difficult player to trust.
No, he's up for it. The problem with him is that he's extremely physical and he's extremely small, and that's not the best guy. It's like, even like, we're in Indianapolis. Like, the guy that I think about that, and he wasn't that small, but Bob Sanders was little for a safety.
Yeah.
And he was elite, but there's a shelf life when you're little and physical. And that's kind of, he's not going to be Bob Sanders, but I'm just saying, like, it's cool to be physical, but when you're that little, it's kind of, it's inevitably not going to end well most of the time.
Figure out whoever you want to attribute the quote to, but big people beat up little people. That's the old NFL saying.
Alex, by the way, texted me. He said, didn't know if you said it on the air or anything. Didn't want to get you crossed up. I was like, yeah, I did. I don't care. Like, I mean, you said it. It was funny.
Oh, man. Didn't want to get you messed up there when I said the wrong player had a very serious disease. Didn't want to get you mixed up there. Is that it for the corners? That was pretty much it for the corners. Like, we didn't talk to as many.
I didn't even look at any of them. I just don't even know what to think about the corners.
There was one like Houston connection guy out there, and it was Upton Stout, who played at Western Kentucky and North Texas, and he's from North Shore. And I asked him, did you talk to the Texans? And he's like, yeah, I did. He's like, bring me home. We'll make it work. I was like, okay. It's like, you should DM them on social media. Work for Tank Dell.
See, I just thought maybe they can just trade Bryant's. That was it.
Trade Bryant's?
Miles Bryant for Kobe Bryant, like the new slot guy.
Miles Bryant looks like freaking Hercules compared to Kobe Bryant. It's a rough situation there for Kobe with his size. But all right, so that's it on DB. That's it on cornerbacks. We want to go to safety talk now.
Yeah, let's go safeties, because I was pretty impressed with the safeties.
All right, where do you want to start?
All right, so you had the talk early was Malachi. It doesn't seem like as many people are as high on him as believed. Like, it was believed he's safety one. Malachi, he might even be there for them to pass at 25. With the way some people are talking,
I kind of perked my eyebrows up, like, oh, that's interesting. When Daniel Jeremiah was talking about Starks last week in his pre-combine media availability, and he's like, yeah, 2024 really wasn't that good. You think about like Georgia, and you think about the type of athletes they have and how successful they've been, and then you watch Malachi Starks, it's like, it's okay. I was like, oh, okay. Well, this guy was like, a lot of people thought he's gonna be safety one. Like, how high could he go? And Daniel Jeremiah kind of had let's call the Jets on him, and he had a big crowd today because it's a Georgia player, It's one of the guys that's near the top of the position, but it's not a guy that's if if you can't be a dog for the dogs, you can't be a dog for the Texans. That's the way I would phrase it.
Yeah, it would be weird because you look at someone said that he mailed it in at the end of the season this year.
That would be
the opposite of the dog that we know. That's the opposite of the dog that we know.
Yeah, Kamari Lassiter
played against Florida State in that meaningless ass bowl game.
Yeah.
So I thought that it was interesting what Penn State safety Jalen Reed said, and this was unsolicited. You didn't even. I mean, it was just an appropriate follow up to ask him about the Texans, because they asked him about the style of defense he likes to play, what he thinks he brings, and he said, "I like the Texans defense." Just said, "I like the Texans defense." He said, "I like the way they play, blah blah blah, yada yada yada." And I asked him, what do you like about it? And he said he likes the versatility, he likes the physicality, he listed like all the players that he likes, listed basically like the whole defense. And he said that they had a really, really good conversation. He said he didn't get to meet D'Amico, but he hopes to meet him soon. So Jalen Reed out of Penn State, really good player. He brought up. Now, I think he's a better Petrie, perhaps, or a Petrie. Okay. I don't want to say better. That's disrespectful. Petrie was good last year. But I think there might be a problem because you could say that him and Petrie are a little bit similar in the manner in which they can play. Although I think he's probably a little bit better in coverage. Then you had.
So one more thing about him, his teammate Kevin Winston Jr. I was talking to him while you were talking to Reed, and he got asked about Reed, and he's like one of the smartest guys I've played with, like super smart and ready to just bring it from a blitz standpoint. And he felt like those were two of the things that just like really jumped off the page about his teammate. But super smart player at the safety spot and not afraid to bring the heat from the safety spot. And I was like, okay, noted.
Andrew Makuba out of Texas.
Yep.
He did a good job holding court. All the Longhorns have some media training. Like, I don't know. Like Barron is like, he might be. I mean, he sounds like he's like an 8-year vet.
He might talk his way into the first round and like higher than he already was projected to go.
He's going to go top 15.
Really? Okay.
Top 15, top 20.
I could see that.
Helm was there too, but Makuba, I consider him more Clemson than Texas, but he had a good year. He said he met with the Texans, so there was that. Xavier Watts, he hasn't met with the Texans yet. I like him a lot too. He is a tough SOB. Notre Dame does not get where they got without him.
Mm-hmm.
The kid out of Virginia, he met with them, the Texans. I don't know how he fits in.
Do you have his name off the top of your head? The kid out of Virginia.
The kid out of Virginia. Sanker. Jonas Sanker.
Okay.
Yeah, he's pretty. He's interesting. I don't know that he fits.
So, okay, we talk about safety, but where would you be most comfortable with them adding to this? Because if they had to play a football game tomorrow, they have.
You said comfortable?
Where would you be most comfortable with them drafting a safety?
25.
But there's only one.
Not a safety, the safety.
There's only one name you drafted 25.
Yeah, I think you probably wouldn't mind it either. I don't think they get that opportunity. It would be. You know what the nickname would be, and I'm going to make these shirts, and I don't want anyone stealing this from me. If they get this guy, just tell the people who I'm talking about. 25.
It's Nick Amenawari from South Carolina.
Yes, a massive human being and a guy who he's got some ball skills too. He can do his thing. If they draft him, you know what you know what the shirt I'm going to make for the DBs and it is? We might sell it right here.
What is it?
Blob right here. Blob with the Texans logo, probably like some blue, maybe red. Blob.
Okay.
If they get him, then it's Blob. If the young man from South Carolina arrives here, Blob is the T-shirt
what's the
that you
acronym
wear.
stand for?
Baby Legion of Boom.
Baby Legion of Boom. Manowari is
he's
such a fun
show. And you see him, he doesn't even look like he's in the wrong damn room. And then you watch his highlights and it's like, dude, this guy's like ball hawk, like he's a ball hawk. He's not in the same level as this is it doesn't seem like anyone's too high on the safety class.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
That guy would be safety one in most though. He's just on a different level. He's
potentially Derwin James. Imagine adding Derwin James to the Houston Texans defense. It's pretty scary. Pretty fast. Like he's a physical specimen. You go and you watch the success he had from that position and like you mentioned Watts from Notre Dame, Xavier Watts. Kind of a replication of what Bullock does a little bit. Manowari's a totally different guy, exactly what the type of guy you would play next to Kalen Bullock, and you'd have those guys with Stingley and Lassiter. I mean, my goodness. You're kind of talking me into Manowari here.
Blob.
Baby
Blob. And someone's gonna steal it. Just my ideas just tend to get stolen, dude. They just tend to get stolen.
Was the Legion of Boom 4 guys or was it just 3 guys? The Legion of Boom was just 3 guys, right?
It was the whole secondary, but they had like
they had a couple of guys like interchange.
They had an X-Pac. I mean, they had a 6-Pac.
Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about. He was so Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman, and Earl Thomas for the Seahawks. They were the Legion of Boom, and then they had like some other guys, kind of like
that were just lucky to be there. Yeah, but, Scott Norton, basically Scott Norton of the NWO.
It's like you're in the Legion of Boom, but you're not really in the Legion of Boom.
Ahmed Johnson, Nation of Domination.
And that was probably the extent of our safeties too. Like just because I think you have very specialized guys that you would take or you have a need to invest in.
The need is there. Like no one's denying that there's a need because Petrie can't be.
He's not your regular safety. He
can't do it. Jimmy Ward can't stay healthy.
Right.
And you don't know, like Eric Murray, can we try something else? Thank you for your service, sir. But you do need, but it's not enough of a need to where you need to force it. Like you can overcome it and you can figure it out. But if you have the opportunity to create the blob, you create the blob.
Baby Legion of Boom.
Yep.
I'm sure D'Amico Ryans would love if you named them that prior to them playing any football games.
That's one of the best. Here's D'Amico. All right, you asked the question. I'll do his exact mannerisms.
D'Amico, what do you think about the nickname Baby Legion of Boom for your secondary?
The Legion of Boom is one of the best secondaries that we've seen in this league. These are young guys. They got a long way to go. We're excited about what these guys got, but they got a long way to go before we can start giving them those nicknames.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It was terrible.
I was just trying to be nice to you.
Yeah, it was bad. No, don't try to be nice.
All right. Well, it sucked. Don't do it again.
I'm retired. So yeah, that was the safeties, the corners, the tight ends. Tomorrow's gonna be fun because we got the wide receivers.
Yeah, you got to sell it to him like you sold it to me the first time. D'Amico, do you know about the blob? I'm like, what?
Blob, Baby Legion of Boom. The hell's that?
Patrick did like your fake D'Amico chuckle. So you were about to say it. Tomorrow's the very fun day.
Heaven.
Tomorrow is talk to as many people as you can because it's running backs and wide receivers, baby. And this quarterback class. Which great. Go get at a podium and take up all the people. We'll go talk to all the pass catchers and the running backs. It's going to be a great day tomorrow.
Jaden Blue's not even at a podium. He's at a table.
I already know where you're spending that.
He's going to get bothered tomorrow.
Hey, Jaden, remember the time that Sarkisian didn't throw you the ball? Hey, Jaden, remember the time that he did throw you the ball and you took it 98 yards to the house? They probably should have done that more. That was awesome.
Nah,
a full Chris Farley show on him. Hey, Jaden, remember when you were really fast and they didn't give you the football at Texas?
No, I'm more intrigued by him. That was fanhood frustration. Watching him.
Well,
but I'm more intrigued by him.
You had talked about him.
Fumbles.
You had talked about him all year long.
Yeah.
It's like, and then you saw like a flash here. Then they're in the back end of the season, and Texas finally gives him the ball, and it's like, oh well, that was really good. They should do that again. And then they didn't do it for like 3 games.
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah,
it's all good. So that's pretty much all we got. Tonight there's a lot of options. So we got a dinner reservation today. Lil Wayne's actually playing like 50 feet from us. I've seen that concert 6 times though. I've been to 6 Wayne shows, different eras, 6 of them.
Are you going in to the concert?
I think I might go to this. There's a where you can gamble on sports and eat grub. I like you can bet on the phone, but there's nothing beats like get Caesar's ticket, and it's a Caesar's spot right there. Nothing beats like just having that Caesar's ticket in your hand and getting to bed. So I might just go watch some basketball in bed and act a fool.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Patrick says you need to eat a vegetable tonight.
Okay, cream spinach.
Oh God. Anyway, I feel like we've worn out our shelf life of Wi-Fi. So we appreciate everyone for coming through. Subscribe, like, right along. Tomorrow we got the receivers, we got the DBs, and we're all in this together. Appreciate y'all for coming through.
Eat good, sleep good, be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.